So Slim Shady that we see in the Lord of the Rings trailer, The Rings of Power, is not Sauron. It's bringing up a lot of discussion as far as will it stick to Tolkien's lore? Will it contradict it? Will it hijack it? And I agree with a lot of those sentiments as well, but we're not going to talk about that here. I just want to talk about this little particular shot here, or these couple shots where we see this Eminem looking character, and people are thinking this may be Sauron, but it would not make sense for them to show Sauron looking evil or like a villain in whatever form, as it contradicts Tolkien's lore, which again, it seems like they'll probably do that anyway. But with that discussion aside, it wouldn't make any sense for Amazon to show him looking sinister, like an antagonist, evil, or like Eminem. As a matter of fact, this is actually actress Brady Sison. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. She does seem to be evil in some form. Perhaps she is a lieutenant of Sauron, whatever. Now, Sauron does appear in the Second Age. As many of you know, he appears as Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, and eventually he tricks Celebrimbor and the other Elven Smiths to create the Rings of Power. And as you know by now, there's also some other new characters, some original characters they're putting in here as well. I think the show will focus on them a lot, other than Galadriel, who's not really Galadriel. But the point being, you have a new character called Halbrand, and some people think he's just a mortal man. And him being in the show means he's important to some degree, so he could be one of the 9 men who become Sauron's ring race. In fact, many people think that he could turn out to be none other than the Witch King, Sauron's second in command, and Lord of the Nazgul. And those are all valid guesses, but they're all wrong. So caution from this point on, this will contain major spoilers for the Lord of the Rings of Power. So who is it? Did we see Sauron in the trailer? As a matter of fact, we did at least 2 or 3 times, I believe I counted. And the answer is Halbrand. This is the new character again, as we talked about, played by Charles Vickers. And I'm certainly not going to claim I'm the first to think about this, so I'm not taking any kind of credit for some big discovery. But I did think it was really odd after watching the trailer a few times. And after thinking about it more and reading the Vanity Fair article, I did look around the internet as well, and the idea has been floating around for a while on Reddit, so credit to all those guys on Reddit. And as a matter of fact, Gary from Nerdrotic actually confirms this in one of his videos with some insider information, so I'll leave a link to his video in the description below. But after watching the trailer multiple times, reading the Vanity Fair article, I think he's hiding right in plain sight. And also there was a podcast as well on a Spanish radio station where the show writer says something to the effect of, he and Galadriel are orc hunting and searching for Sauron, who might be where you least expect him. So that means probably right beside her. So let's jump over here really quickly to the Vanity Fair article. And I think they pretty much spelled it out for us. By episode 2, her warnings set her adrift, literally and figuratively, until she's struggling for survival on a raft in the storm-swept Sondering Seas alongside a mortal castaway named Halbrand, again played by Charles Vickers, who is a new character introduced to the show. Galadriel is fighting for the future, and Halbrand is running from the past. And then we scroll down a little bit further, and we actually see a few pictures here in the rest of the article. Here's actually the picture that I was just talking about of them in the show, Galadriel and Halbrand together. And then we scroll down here to a picture of Halbrand himself, and you have him right here. This is Halbrand, again, the new made-up character. And this is going to be Sauron. So we see him here. We're holding a necklace here, whatever, but it says right here in the caption, Charles Vickers as Halbrand, a new character who is a fugitive from his own past. And then right below it, it says, speaking of Sauron, the villain's presence is a major factor throughout the Second Age, and it keeps on going, etc. But the point being is they're showing it here, and then right below his picture, speaking of Sauron. Main point here is that this lines up exactly with the actual lore of Sauron, who notably also spends the first 500 years of the Second Age hiding out after Morgoth, his master, was defeated, and he is in fear of divine retribution for his actions. And so in the lore, it basically says that Sauron spent the first 500 years hiding, and that certainly lines up with the lore and could certainly be described as Sauron running from the past, which is exactly what the Vanity Fair article reported Halbrand is doing during the Rings of Power when it begins. But we do in fact see Sauron in the trailer a few times. This is going to be a different form. Again, this is some human form, some made up form, but he is a shapeshifter, so I'm not going to worry about that too much as far as the lore goes. He's been a vampire, he's been a werewolf, and so at some point I assume he will become Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, and approach the elves and start the process of creating the Rings of Power. I know this show has a lot of controversy around it, and I agree with a lot of it, but I do want to check it out. I've been excited for this for many years since they announced it because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I think it's the greatest story ever told, and I still have high hopes, especially after seeing this last trailer, which was a lot better than the previous teasers, although they certainly could have done a better job telling us what this show is going to be about, as they should be mentioning Morgoth has been defeated, and some of his lieutenants are still running around somewhere. That seems to be the major aspect of the show, is Galadriel, Warrior Galadriel, which again is not Tolkien, is running around looking for Sauron, but people should find out about his master Morgoth because this is before he becomes the major villain. Anyway, thank you for all the continued support, especially you guys on Patreon, and a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers. And if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share. Be sure to subscribe to get everything as we try to reach 100,000 subscribers, and join us every Sunday night after House of the Dragon airs starting August the 21st. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.